Hello. So a few months ago, I was starting to have some issues with pfSense running on my notebook from 2003. And the problem was that I was getting really slow download speeds. So I switched back to my old D-Link DIR655 router for a while. But now there seems to be a new version or release on this, and it looks a bit different. And yeah, and it looks like this. And the thing is, this old notebook is, as I said, from 2003, and it's so old that it doesn't even have a 64-bit sort of add-on to it. It's not a 64-bit CPU, which means that I have to run the 32-bit version of pfSense. And there is a new 2.4 release, 2.4.1 I think, and that is 64-bit only, so I have to run the 2.3 release, and the latest is 235 patch 22 when I record this video. And this old CPU, where it's a 1.4 gigahertz single core CPU, no hyper-threading or anything, just a single core, and maximum amount of RAM you can have in this computer is 2 gigs, which is kind of enough for pfSense, or for my needs at least. So, but this 235 release actually works really well, because I thought first it was a network card on my notebook. I have two network cards with the built-in, of course, and the built-in is not even 1 gigabit, it's 100 megabit, and that goes actually to my internet, my ISP, because I have 100 megabit in both directions, so that's perfect for that. And then I have an extra PCIe CIA card, and that's 1 gigabit. And that goes to my LAN, to a switch, an 8-port switch. But it seems to be working pretty good right now. You can see I've been running it. I installed it one day and 18 hours ago, and I already downloaded almost 73 gigabytes, and out is 3 gigs. But yeah, I haven't really changed that much on here. I just added this interface statistics and the traffic graphs. And what else did I do? I went to the services and the DHCP server, and I changed the range to 101 and 109. And why I did that was because I actually, in the bottom here, I do static mappings, so which means that I set it in the router, and every time a computer starts, it will get the same IP address. I know that you can do it manually in the network card settings, but I find it easier to have it just here, because if I reinstall the computer, I don't have to think about changing it in the network. So that's pretty good. It was pretty easy. It actually, because what you did was, I think I went to status and DHCP leases, and here you can see what IP addresses it will lease to computers. And I just clicked, there was a white, another plus sign here, so just add it to the static. And that static IP address has to be outside the DHCP lease. So I can't set the IP address between 101 and 199. And in the old router, it was just the opposite. The static IP had to be within the scope. With pfSense, it's the opposite. It has to be outside the scope. So yeah, And then, of course, I went to firewall setting and NAT, and I did a port forward to my Minecraft server, or servers. I got two of them, one vanilla and one modded. And when you do that, it will automatically ask you to, or if it should, update the firewall as well. So the firewall rules, it adds this as well, those ports. So that's basically the only thing I have done, added static IP address to computers, or static mapping, and then port forward. And right now it's working really well. Yeah, I know you can set the different DNS to Google, but I have some suspicion that it was actually the Google's DNS that was causing some issues. The 8.8.8.8 and 8844, something like that. So that might was an issue. So right now I'm just using my ISP's DNS and default gateway. And it works. So yeah, finally I am back on pfSense, because I think pfSense actually works better when it comes to my internet connection, the speed and the stability, especially when I do multiple things on the internet, if I stream and use Spotify and whatever, or do whatever else, a bunch of things. My old router can't really handle that. And my D-Link router is like 10 years old. And yeah, people might say, why don't you buy a new router? Yeah, but that router is really expensive, especially the one I want with 8 ports. It costs like $400, something like that. And I can buy basically a cheap computer for that will actually perform better than that router. So it's not worth the money, that's what I'm saying. So even though this computer is from 2003, it performs better than my D-Link router. So yeah, it's really great to be on pfSense again, and in the future I might build a separate computer that has a little bit more performance, and I might do some caching and stuff, add a second drive and use that for caching. I don't really need it, but it's fun to try out, fun to test things, test new things and learn. So yeah, that's that. Nice to be back on pfSense as a firewall / router. So yeah, see you later.